Hello and welcome to DEE Kai, Digital Era Entertainment's weekly anime podcast. This is episode number 175. I'm your host, Joel, and joining me live on the line is Jace.
Hello.
Hello. Oh boy, the fall 2023 season is starting to get away from me. I've been able to keep up with most of my shows, but this past week's been crazy, and I'm visiting home this weekend, and oh gosh, hopefully next week is going to be calmer and I'll be able to actually catch up on everything because there's some good stuff, but also I am being a bit more ruthless than usual. Well, actually, no, I'm not. I guess it feels like I was ruthless because the things I started with this week, the few things that I have watched are the ones that were on the bubble because I kind of wanted to make the decision for them. And two of the three on the bubble for me have been cut. I have dropped Migi and Dolly, which is really disappointing after how much I enjoyed the first episode, but it suffered from haven't you heard I'm Sakamoto syndrome, which is unsurprising because it's the same author, and that it was the fear that I felt when I heard it was the same author because just for whatever reason, I didn't care for Sakamoto. That I say that it suffers from Family Guy syndrome in that it takes its gag and just keeps it going for way too long. And then there's just other gags which, for whatever reason, simply don't hit for me. And episode 3 of Migi and Dolly was by far the worst. It was just
that was what sealed the deal for dropping it for me.
Yeah, there's nothing offensive about it. There's nothing problematic about it. It's just boring that none of the characters have any depth, and the gag of, all right, we're going to swap back and forth started to not even be played as much, and it was just, okay, the thing that I liked about Migi and Dolly is it seemed like they were very smart, that they were cunning, but as has been revealed in episodes 2 and 3, they are cunning to a point, but they are also both very dumb. They are just largely unaware of the world around them.
Idiot geniuses.
And they're playing up the usual, oh, we're smart about certain things, therefore have no social skills trope. And they're not playing it well at all. Of just, okay, I find it very difficult to believe that two people who are so smart and who have spent their lives in an orphanage surrounded by other people, that they are completely unaware of the concept of how to make friends. I can understand characters and people who are like, okay, I understand that I have social issues or social anxiety, and that while I understand the concept of how to make friends, I might not necessarily be good at it. But the fact that they were saying to each other, how does one make friends? It sounds like bad writing.
Yeah, I just lost interest. I had to get ruthless. I had to cut shows that I feel like if there wasn't so many shows this season, I would genuinely be watching and enjoying, but they just weren't moving at a pace, or they kind of, while I enjoyed the joke or the gimmick, it overstayed its welcome a little too much, and thus, will be something that maybe if there's another summer season like we had this past summer, another very lazy season, I might go back and revisit some stuff. And hopefully I'm not missing something like how we both missed Bocce, last year.
What really scares me here, that I'm even looking back at a couple of reviews of things from the summer season and seeing, I missed My Happy Marriage, which I heard some good things about.
I've been meaning to go back and check that out too.
Reborn as a Vending Machine, I keep hearing is better apparently than its first couple of episodes, so maybe I need to go back and see that one. And but we'll figure that out later. The other one that I dropped was wow, I've gone and forgotten about it because I dropped it. Which one was it? 16-Bit Sensation, which was kind of heartbreaking. I wanted to like 16-Bit Sensation.
I'm holding on to it. I like it. I'm not a fan of the weird yo-yoing that's going on with her seemingly going between the present.
I'm totally
and the
cool
past.
with that. I'm fine with that.
It feels a little weird to me, but then again, I guess because I didn't expect it.
Of Tokyo Revengers, that's the entire crux
True.
of
True.
80,000 gold for my retirement. We've seen this before.
Yeah, and I guess it's because I'm watching Tokyo Revengers right now too. So,
but just for me,
plus Loki, so my brain is already a little stretched thin with time shenanigans. But I dropped.
It's the characters are just really thin again. I like the characters here more than in Migi and Dolly at the very least. That I wanted to like these characters, and they are more than one dimensional, which is what you see in Migi and Dolly. They are sadly only two-dimensional, though, and that's still not enough, nor is the plot at hand particularly compelling. That we're not even really getting the types of throwbacks and references as of episodes 2 and 3 that we were getting left, right, and center in episode 1, that we're getting sort of loose concepts of game development and pride in being an otaku and nerd, and I like that. I want to like that, but
for me, because I am a diehard 16-bit nerd, I'm still loving it.
It was just really slow. There were a lot of scenes that felt like they could have been half the length. I felt like the entirety of episode 3 and what was discussed and accomplished could have been done in the course of a half episode, and they just really drew it out, and I had to end up cutting it. I can't decide if I want you to tell me in a couple weeks that it somehow has gotten amazing and I need to re-add it to my slate, or if I kind of want it to not be good so I'm not getting even more overwhelmed.
I wound up dropping 100 Girlfriends. I don't think at the rate that they're going that they will ever reach 100 Girlfriends.
Can't imagine.
In 3 episodes, they've only reached the 3rd. And I mean, like, okay, in the first 2, like actually in the first 1, they were already at 2. And they figured out how to work together as 3 people just fine by the end of that episode. But I was already getting kind of annoyed by the shy girl who spoke by pointing at a book. Like, that just got very old, very quick. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm already like really kind of getting worn out on these characters.
The key art shows 5 female characters in the foreground and then a bunch of
I don't know what the 4th girl's gimmick is going to be, but the 5th girl, whose name is Kusuri, which means medicine, appears to be a scientist. And while I was kind of excited, she appears like she's going to be the last one to be introduced. I don't have the patience for that. I also wound up dropping the Crash Course in Naughtiness.
I did that last week, and
the joke just, here's the joke. That's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what other characters you introduce into it. I mean, they're toying around a little bit with what could have been a potential rom-com layer to it, where he's trying to convince, like, who is she to me? I don't know. I kind of like her. I kind of also want to defend her. Like, I don't know. Is she like a sister? Is she like I don't know who she is to me, but I really and meanwhile, I also just liked when she was in disguise with the black hair, because at that point it was like, hey, literally it's but minus the assassin bit.
Yeah,
because it's also the same actress. But like it wore out very quickly.
Kingdoms of Ruin is keeping my attention. It's a rough show to watch. Not in the sense that it's bad, but it is just very dark, very depressing, and very brutal. I'm not sure if it's going to end up doing anything particularly thoughtful or if it's just going to be content to more or less just be, for lack of a better term, revenge porn, basically. Just, all right, these people wrong me, so I'm going to destroy them all. Yeah. And just,
I mean, if that gets exhausting, you could always just switch over to Ragna Crimson, which is less revenge porn and more like, shonen-y, action-y, like, power trippy.
We'll see, because Kingdoms of Ruin, that at very least, its characters are... It's difficult to say that they're more than one-dimensional. Very few have been given enough screen time to show the dimensions that they seem to have, though. But at the very least, from a lot of their initial scenes, I'm getting more than tropey vibes from them that I can feel just from the things that they're doing, or in some ways the things that they're not doing, that they just seem like normal people, that not as many of these folks have extremely overstated tendencies or clear archetypical habits. And that's a very good sign, because it means, all right, there's probably actual writing here for what makes them unique, but we need to get there. And I'm willing to be patient for that. On the other hand, perhaps ironically, you mentioned of going from Kingdoms of Ruin to one that's a bit more shonen-y and action-y. I'm on the border with Undead Unluck.
I haven't seen the newest episode of it, episode 3, but between the first 2 episodes, I was still enjoying it. So
I'm a bit more than halfway through episode 3. It's what I was watching just before we went live, and it continues to be okay. It's not quite as bombastic as it was. Well, rephrased. It is still as bombastic as it was in episode 1, but the plot is, I don't think it's fair to say that the plot is moving slowly, because this is a shonen. It's very clear this is meant to be more drawn out than something for 12 or even 24 episodes.
Yeah.
But we're not moving along from the initial gag yet. And there's still, even if not as much shown of, frankly, the sexual assault against the main character, that it continues to be that albatross just hanging around its neck. They keep going back to it, and I'm told that they move away from it, and I'm hoping they move away from it soon. I'm going to give it a couple more episodes, but at this point in time, the characters are fine and funny enough, but I want more.
I'd say probably the top 2 in it, like my definite top 2 of this season have got to be Shy and Free Ren.
I'm still a couple behind on Free Ren. I haven't seen episode 3 of Shy yet, but episode 2, as I mentioned last week, was very good.
Yeah, I am loving both shows completely. I am all in on both of them.
I have some other things that I want to discuss at a later date, but for now, let's go on and move to our main topic for today. We are going back in time once again to Newtype Magazine. We are going to be looking at the October 2003 issue, so that is 20 years ago. I do like that we have this as sort of a fallback, because I'll be quite honest, we didn't know what to talk about today. Sometimes that happens. Yeah, we're right up against Halloween, but we've covered a lot of the overarching tropes, and I feel like we're actually, as a show, starting to evolve a little bit past the more overarching concept shows, which I think is good. And frankly, I'm kind of impressed that we made it this far while relying on them, because, we have a lot of tropes that we were able to talk about. There are a lot of tropes. There are a lot of broad concepts. But when you're at 175 episodes, we'll even say, 100 episodes. Let's say an entire 75 has been dedicated to our preview, reaction, and synopsis and other review episodes, which I don't think it's a full 75, but that we were able to get 100. So we're having to slow down a little bit on the archetype episodes and discover different things. That's why last week we had the real or fake brands return. And like I said, the second time we did Newtype, I think this is something that we'll probably come back to once every season or two. I double checked. It's been about actually a season exactly. I think it's been 11 weeks since our last one. So not something we want to rely on too much, but it provides what I think is always a good fallback. And here we have Firestarter, Witch Hunter Robin, not to be confused. What was the other Fire anime that just flopped earlier in this year? Fire something. I think it was in winter, and it just had really bad production values.
Oh, Fire Hunters?
Thank you.
Yeah, that had some big names going for it too, and just
production was kind of the worst that I've seen in probably the past 5 years. It was
disappointed a lot of people hardcore.
When episode 2 devolves into the storyboard panoramics that are infamous for the last episode of Neon Genesis Evangelion, in episode 2, that the budget ran out there and already wasn't really stellar, not a good look.
Yeah.
But Witch Hunter Robin, admittedly one that I haven't seen, but one that I know has a very good production, at least for its time, and that is pretty beloved, if not necessarily one that ended up transcending, that I feel like it's sort of settled into cult classic status.
Yeah, I mean, I would call it a modern classic. It's of that or Adult Swim classic, because this was something that reached that broad appeal thanks to cable television. Anything of that Adult Swim era, specifically the era of Adult Swim. I believe they called it the Silhouette era, was when they were using the black and white bumper cards and represented the different shows with silhouettes of the characters. And so, so you had shows like Witch Hunter Robin, you had Fully Cooley, Wolf's Rain, Cowboy Bebop. So a lot of actually Bandai Visual titles, actually.
Now, looking at the rest of this cover here, there's a couple different things that catch my eye. The first is Shaolin Soccer.
Yeah, that was a hell of a movie.
That, first and foremost, wasn't an anime. It wasn't even produced in Japan. It was produced in Hong Kong.
Yep. But definitely feels like a live action anime.
Certainly. But it is the odd production out here on this cover.
I think ADV might have published it. I'm not sure, though.
That would make sense. Now we have Mao-chan, which, after looking it up, because I didn't recognize that one at a glance, Ground Defense Force Mao-chan.
Yep.
The other one that we see here, sort of tucked away on the left side, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure 20 years ago.
Yep, that was because the Stardust Crusaders OVA was coming out at the time on DVD. Let's crack this bad boy open, shall we? And here's Mao-chan, actually, right here.
Oh, there we are.
Along with I have the TM Revolution CD somewhere too, but I decided to pull this bad boy out.
J-pop one, which I'm trying to place what type of style that evokes. It reminds me kind of what's the game that had a spiritual successor recently? Cyberfunk.
Bomb Rush Cyberfunk.
Thank you. That
yeah,
it looks like
Jet Set Radio.
Yeah, it looks Jet Set Radio of just.
Yep.
I guess that is sort of the pop CD style that you would get in that particular era of 2003. So it does seem about right.
The track listing here on the back, including
holy
Judy
crap! I didn't realize there was that many.
Yeah, 15 tracks on that
15
CD.
15 tracks on a free CD?
Well, no, this wasn't a free CD. I bought this.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought that this was a tie-in that,
No,
that came with the magazine. So you actually just happened to buy this. And
yeah, I have this, and I have the TM Revolution CD somewhere as well.
That's incredible.
Actually. Yeah.
Who distributed this? Because there's no brand on this. It's
this was Tofu Records, which is Sony Music Entertainment Japan.
Ah, that'll do it.
Yep. Which of course really
just didn't brand this at all. That usually they would.
It's right down there at the bottom. Tofu Records.
And yeah, they're at the bottom in the back that you need to look for it. But in terms of just general marketing, if they wanted there to be more, that they don't give you much to associate it with other than just, okay, this is J-pop.
We have artists like TM Revolution, Nami Tamaki, Brilliant Green, Chemistry, Hyde.
Yeah, there's some significant stuff here, which makes sense of Sony Music Japan that they do have a lot on their label. So it's unsurprising that they were able to put this compilation together.
Yeah.
But do you remember where you got this?
I think I got J-pop CD as a gift actually for Christmas. But I remember getting the TM Revolution CD, I think at Suncoast.
That would make sense. It feels like something that would be at Suncoast, maybe a Borders if they had one of the larger music sections.
Yeah. But that TM Revolution album, Coordinate, featured Heart of Sword from Rurouni Kenshin as a bonus track, but was mostly a soundtrack or promotional album for Gundam Seed. His music was all over that series. Let's see. Hey, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon on the Xbox, PlayStation 2, Game Boy Advance from Ubisoft.
It bothers me how seeing the name Game Boy Advance, there are some things that I look at and say, no, that isn't that old. The Wii isn't actually that old. And I look at the Game Boy Advance and I say, actually, that is kind of old. Oh no. Oh no.
As two Game Boy Advances stare me in the face from the corner.
Thinking about where graphics have come since the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
Is just staggering.
A 32-bit handheld. And of course we have our giveaways.
Our usual giveaways.
So we have our Cardcaptor Sakura manga box set here. We have Shaolin Soccer graphic novel. There was a graphic novel tie-in for the movie.
Frankly, I'm not surprised.
Millennium Actress. I have that on freaking VHS.
Because Millennium Actress, if memory serves, the license lapsed because there was a big deal in 2017 or 18 where Millennium Actress was brought back in some capacity because they had a big screening for it at Crunchyroll Expo. I'm going to have to look it up.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know that they recently re-released Paranoia Agent, another of Satoshi Kon's works. But yeah, Millennium Actress, I still have that on VHS. So
yep, here we go. Oh, wow. Guess who initially distributed it? It was a subsidiary of a larger company under their art house and foreign movie branch called Go Fish Pictures, with a total of 6 screens in U.S. theaters.
Wow.
But guess what the parent company of Go Fish Pictures is?
Who?
DreamWorks.
You know, I vaguely remember that. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if there was something about DreamWorks distributing it in like one of these magazines, if anything.
I've never heard of DreamWorks dealing in anime in any regard.
Well, it's kind of like how Miramax distributed Princess Mononoke, and Miramax was the indie arm of Buena Vista, aka Disney.
Mm-hmm.
So Disney was dealing in Ghibli even years before.
Also, I was slightly off on my years that it was 2019, and it was acquired by 11 Arts, which did an all new dub for it as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. 11 Arts does good stuff. That they did Makia, they did Penguin Highway, Silent Voice, the Hibike Euphonium movie. They've done a fair number of things that they're sort of an oddity in the industry. And I've had the pleasure of working with some of their folks there, really nice folks. But the fact that they only deal in theatrical releases and proper theatrical length DVD releases, that they don't deal in any seasonal work at all. And there just really isn't another company that has that narrow a focus. And they've done very well for themselves, and they put out good stuff. But it's kind of interesting to see them as this somewhat anomalous company. And here we do have Witch Hunter Robin.
Yep, here is our cover story, Witch Hunter Robin. It's Volume 1, available October 2003 from Bandai Entertainment.
Makes me wonder how many episodes were on that Volume 1.
If I had to guess, probably 4.
Yeah, it was usually 3 or 4, 5 if you were lucky, 6 if you were really lucky, but usually 4 was that magic number. They do have a good set of screenshots here, some good art on the right side.
It's a nice spread here with the cast.
I'm very curious for pieces like this. Was this a sponsored piece? That how much of the media in Newtype was actually sponsored? I don't know that we will have any way of actually finding that out. But is it the type of thing that the company distributing Witch Hunter Robin pays $20,000 or however much money to have the cover, the feature article, which consists of X number of pages, and then do they write it? Is it written by the Newtype people? Does the distributing company have to approve what is written in the article? There's so many logistical things that go on behind the scenes for a magazine like this that is going to be unlike something such as ESPN, the magazine, Sports Illustrated, or a tabloid or something like that.
Here we go. The first preview of Samurai Champloo.
Preview of Samurai Champloo. Good Lord.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought Champloo was... No. 2003 sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got that soundtrack.
I thought it was somewhere around... It feels like it could have been 2006, but it also feels like it could have been 2001. I don't know.
I want to say it was like 2005. Because I was jamming to that soundtrack.
Well, that might... Well, because this is 03, so it couldn't have been 5.
I'm pretty sure it was at least 5, because I had that soundtrack in high school.
2004. So wait a minute. No, wait. The manga was 2004. Anime was 2004. It ended its run in 2005. But this is an 03 magazine. So what from Samurai Champloo is being...
This is a preview right here.
An in development preview. This isn't a preview in the sense of this is about to air next season. This
currently
is
under development.
Okay. This is early development.
Yeah. So hip hop samurai movie is coming to you Watanabe style.
I guess the fact that Shinichiro Watanabe was helming it alone made it worthy of actually having an article even this early in production.
Definitely. Up here, hey, wow, doing our job for us back in 2003, Japan's fall anime checklist. Let's see what was airing in Japan in the fall of 2003. Mabaraho. Oh boy. That was that Harry Potter eugenics type show, I believe. Chrono
What?
Crusade. It was three girls who wanted to get with this one dude because he had massive magic power, and that was it. He sucked at magic, but his genetics meant that he had massive magic power, so they wanted to get with him.
Huh.
Yeah. So people just called it the Harry Potter eugenics anime.
Wow.
Yeah, let's see. What else did we have here? Tojushin Gravion's Way.
We have a lot of
Peacemaker
things that are.
Kurogane.
We have a lot of things here that just aren't translated because certain titles weren't localized. Yami Toboshi
did wind up coming.
no.
A lot of these did come stateside because Planetes did come stateside. I remember seeing that.
Yeah, that's the one that catches my eye in terms of things
Yoko
that I know.
Princess Valkyrie, I believe, did come stateside. I believe Gravion did come stateside. I believe Yep, I'm pretty sure Godaner did come stateside. Yeah. I know Gilgamesh came stateside.
Yeah, but the fact that we see, and this was something I mentioned the last time we looked at a Newtype, that you see these with their unlocalized titles. Chojushin Gravion Zwei just became Gravion.
Yep.
Shinkon Gatai Godanar. Obviously, Gilgamesh was only just a single word to begin with, but that you see these titles ending up in Newtype so early that even if they are in the process, even if they've already been licensed, they might not necessarily have localized titles signed off yet, or maybe the licenses aren't even settled yet. So you end up getting these titles printed in English media that then become obsolete, and that in some ways, it doesn't make this a collector's item necessarily because you just happen to have the Gravion title untranslated.
Snapshot in time.
Exactly.
Yeah. In fact, it's funny because they localized Chrono Crusade with the O in Chrono, which I believe the Japanese title didn't have the O because they couldn't have the O because they were afraid of being sued by Squaresoft at the time because of Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross. That's why it's spelled CHRNO.
I could see that. That makes sense.
Funny enough, actually, and I'm going to date myself with this, when I first met Greg Ayers back in 2005, he was announced to play the lead role of Chrono in Chrono Crusade and was cosplaying the character and had his hair dyed neon purple to dress as the character for Anime Boston.
Very nice.
Oh, it was so freaking cool because back then you couldn't get a quality wig. It was nuts. Hey, Hideaki Anno. His take on Cutie Honey.
I didn't even know that he did a take on Cutie Honey. Huh.
Yeah, they were trying to redesign it for live action, actually.
Oh no.
Yeah, which it did get, and it did get redubbed, actually, the live action Cutie Honey, because Jessica Calvello, who plays her in the dub of the anime, dubbed the live action.
All right, but at least this was a Japanese live action production. I feel like I would have heard of this if this was one of the early English live action.
Oh God. That would have been awful. See here. Sakura Wars, or Sakura Taisen. They didn't translate the Taisen to Wars yet.
Yes, the birth of the Spirit Warriors.
This, of course, would later get a DVD release stateside, and we would eventually see the games come stateside too.
We still see them stateside.
Yeah. I'm familiar with the characters thanks to Project Cross Zone. So this is a Sega franchise, I believe.
Now, Also, I need to double check to make sure that I'm thinking of the right ones, because this is this the one that yes, yeah, it is the dating sim one, and if memory serves, there's one that I think is like beach volleyball or something, right? Or maybe I'm thinking of something else.
You're thinking of oh god, well, beach volleyball, that was Dead or Alive.
No, it's not that one.
Then not that one. I know what you're talking about because Senran Kagura.
Thank you. That's what I'm thinking of. Wrong one.
Yeah, because that was the one that had the weird game on the Switch that involved reflexology. The hand massaging.
That's right.
Yeah. Let's see. We got
Apologies to
advertisements here.
Sakura Wars.
Advertisements here for Borders and Walden books, and
I have
KO
never
Beast.
heard of KO Beast.
I remember
never
KO
heard of
Beast. But then again, I had friends who were into all sorts of different things, and you can see right here, review from Anime on DVD.com. It's an OVA series.
Looking it up, it never saw U.S. distribution on a network. It was only DVD, it seems.
What is this?
This is
Gadgard.
Yeah. Oh, for a second, I almost said it was Fully Cooley.
I didn't recognize the key art in this advertisement. I was like, wait a second, because there were things in this that even I didn't wind up watching because DVDs were expensive back then.
They were.
Hey, Kill Bill,
Carnage, and
Carradine.
Carradine. Oh,
yeah, David Carradine.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, Kill Bill.
That's
Battle Without Honor,
an oddity
or
to just.
Well, because
I guess,
it was
it's samurai,
very heavily inspired.
Yeah. I feel like that's what they have to do when they don't have more genuine content to pull on.
Here's another released from ADV Films, Clamp series, Angelic Layer.
This is another one that just. This is a lot of my blind spot in anime of early 2000s. Just if it didn't hit broadcast, that
I watched all of this back in high school on the Anime Network on demand.
Oh, yeah, I never had anything like that.
Yeah.
Will be fine. Wait, no, will be fine. I think that's a misspelling. I think it's supposed to be we apostrophe. Oh, okay, I see, because it talks about will. Shows her will.
Talks about his will.
So I guess it's a play on words of will, WILLB, fine, instead of WE apostrophe LL.
Because Japan loves their puns.
Yeah, but initially that read to me as a typo.
Yeah. Oh, hey, an interview with Satoshi Kon.
That's cool.
Oh,
that's good. I'm assuming this is just direct translated and that it wasn't an entirely new interview done for this, but I do appreciate them having this at all.
Yeah, I mean, Millennium Actress was an amazing movie. Like I said, I still have it on VHS. Ninja Scroll. Oh God, that was something I watched on VHS too. Rent that from Blockbuster back in the day. Damn.
It was a film by Yoshiaki Kawajiri.
Yep.
Never actually saw that one.
Oh man, Returner. I remember watching that live action movie too.
I'm curious. Yeah, okay, this is another one by actually, so it's Takashi Yamazaki. Yeah. Huh. That I initially glanced at this and thought, is this The Matrix?
Well, it was of that era.
It was.
Yeah, Gilgamesh. It's funny. I enjoyed watching this And years later, I never realized that this was a reimagining of something by Shotaro Ishinomori, creator of Kamen Rider and Super Sentai.
Yep.
Because I never would have associated this moody gothic art style that we're seeing with these characters with
someone who's worked in tokusatsu. Yeah.
That is not the same style in the least bit. It is a very different interpretation. Let's see. Oh, hey, Tezuka's Journey to the West.
That's okay. I'll admit that's actually a pretty good pun there. My son Goku. Huh.
Ikitosen, which is a retelling of Journey of Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Hey, more Tenchi Muyo.
As was the style of the time.
Yeah.
To always have Tenchi Muyo, because Tenchi, I feel like, had its time from 2001 to 2009
of constantly just kind of coming back out of nowhere. Yeah.
And then it just stopped at around 2010, 11, 12-ish. Because I remember there were releases from Funimation because they had picked up some of the licenses from Genion, I think. Was this one that...
Yep. Genion, a.k.a. Pioneer.
Yeah. And that I remember hyping up some box sets at different conventions in 2012, 13, 14-ish. But that I have never actually seen a new release of Tenchi Muyo, and that it has now settled into a more historic franchise. And I think it has stood the test of time in terms of name recognition, that if you're pretty deep into anime, even if you haven't seen Tenchi Muyo, you've probably heard of Tenchi Muyo.
Case in point, boom, there's the Tenchi in Tokyo, Genion.
Whew.
Yeah. I am Oji-san.
Yes, you are.
I've got the goods from the early 2000s.
So Tokyo Godfathers, isn't that
that's also Satoshi Kon.
Yeah, that's the one that
was his last film.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I have seen that one.
Yeah. That's an amazing movie too. This month in anime history, merchandise,
Toy-Com.
Oh God.
And
I was just talking about freaking Dominion Tank Force with a friend of mine. Dominion Tank Police. Oh my God. Damn. Oh, that takes me back.
I'm just looking at this. Those were, I hadn't even heard of that one, but when I bring it up, I get this whole other thing of Intron Depot 3 Ballistics and like a bunch of other things. Huh.
Yeah, they were making stuff based off of Masamune Shiro, I guess, at the time. Kira, Ghost in the Shell, and others. More
Aussie Roundup, UK Roundup.
Yep, they always had the small little sections for those. And of course, the print articles, so including the one written by one of Clamp's authors.
Yeah, these are ones that obviously we can't really go into and read through all these, but these are ones where I know if I had these magazines growing up, I probably would have just read those a ton, because those, when we've glanced at them in the past, that those actually have some real depth, that those are probably actually the best pages in this entire magazine in terms of what you're getting for like thoughtful content, that it's not just here's a new big show and here's some stuff about it.
Yeah. And of course we have our manga section here, Angel Dust.
Can you feel the difference in the pages at this point?
Yep, these are a different paper quality.
Yeah.
And
yes, Robert's Anime, your anime superstore.
Shaolin Soccer.
The classic kicks grass. Even Pokemon went with that line at one point.
So yeah, which I want to say I want to say it was the same person who went on to do Kung Fu Hustle after this. Can't remember though. Fun thing, I actually am in the middle of listening to the audiobook version of Full Metal Panic, read by Lucy Christian and Chris Patton, the voices of Kaname and Sosuke from the dub.
Okay, so this is a light novel being read, I assume.
Right. This is the manga, which was published by ADV Manga, because ADV literally did a little bit of everything back then. They started off with anime. They published Newtype Magazine. They got into manga. They even were trying to get into live action film, and even at one point partnered with Weta Workshop, the special effects people behind Lord of the Rings, to try to make a live action Neon Genesis Evangelion film.
I'm unsurprised. I feel like that is very much one that they would have tried, and I kind of feel like they will try again because it is such a big show. They probably ran into issues of, at that point in time, you would have needed AAA Hollywood budget in order to actually get the mechs, even if they were CG at that point in time, because 2003 CG is going to be just so hard to come by in any regard, and to have them look even marginally passable, it probably was just an insurmountable task. That the fact that we haven't seen a live action attempt at Neon Genesis Evangelion from Japan, I think speaks a lot to it.
Definitely.
But it's one that I glance at a lot and say, by today's standards, for what you can do on a budget with CG, I would not be surprised, actually, if, especially given that live action is gonna go through a relative resurgence just because of One Piece, at least for the next 3-4 years, that I'm sure behind closed doors, a whole slew of live action anime adaptations are being greenlit on the heels of One Piece right now. And
well, keep in mind, in December, Japanese produced, mind you, but on Netflix, Yu Yu Hakusho.
But that's different. That's Japanese production, and that the types of things that you need to do for Yu Yu Hakusho could have been done conceptually 5-10 years ago. They didn't do it, but they could have. But that nowadays, I feel like a live action attempt at Neon Genesis Evangelion is inevitable. It's so big, and we have the technology, literally, now to be able to do this. And there's companies, I don't know if it would be Netflix or whoever, but I think we are also at the point where
leave it to Ano himself, I think, to do it, because he's already dipped his toes into the water with live action filmmaking. He's had a thing for it for years, making his own fan Ultraman film, and now having actually done Godzilla, Ultraman, and Kamen Rider, it's inevitable that he's going to revisit Evangelion again, probably like in the next 5-10 years for a live action. It's just a question
of, is he going to do it, or will there be some company that tries to do again what One Piece did, where he's very much involved, but that, all right, I could see that 2003, there's no way in hell that a major studio gives AAA blockbuster tentpole budget to Neon Genesis Evangelion. Someone might do that now, though.
So this was one of the things on the cover, Mao-chan. It's from Ken Akamatsu, the guy who gave us Love Hina.
I need to actually look up what the heck Mao-chan is. Because it's ground defense.
I don't quite remember it either.
But I'm seeing a tank here.
They fought aliens.
Yeah,
really
let's
weird,
hear.
derpy aliens.
Per Wikipedia, stars 3 8-year-old girls, Mao, Misura, and Sylvia, as they try to defend Earth against invading aliens. The world's defense has fallen into unlikely straits because the aliens are excessively cute, of which combat engagements are televised. If the forces battling the aliens were not cute themselves, the general public would revolt, as it would be seen as bullying. Consequently, 3 military leaders choose their granddaughters to be the defenders, fittingly becoming a team even cuter than the aliens. They each have a clover-shaped badge that enables them to transform. Transformation provides no apparent special ability. The series itself is rife with parodies and references, particularly to Akamatsu's earlier work, Love Hina, there you are, and the girl's commanding officer bears resemblance to Naru Segawa from Love Hina. Okay.
Yeah, I see it. I see a lot of the resemblance. Let's see here. Interview with Yoshitoshi Abe.
What series is this? I know this series.
Let's see. Haibane Ranme.
Okay, yeah. Yep. I never actually finished that one. It was a really interesting show, and I know a couple people who hold it in extremely high regard. That it sort of struck me as almost a combination between Kino's Journey and I had the other piece, and then in Mushishi. Kino's Journey and Mushishi.
Okay, yep.
Of just a very thoughtful kind of, I don't know if esoteric is the proper word.
This is interesting. This is an interview with somebody, a retailer, Anime Nation or AN Entertainment, a company that would try to license and bring a few anime stateside. Which included
they
something
apparently
called
did not survive.
Nope, not really. Massive advertisement for Suncoast.
Trip for two and
went a trip
Anime Expo Tokyo.
Animation runner Kuromi and Utena and Tezuka.
It's not the Lion King.
So I can't believe it's not Lion King. Narue no Sekai.
Your friendly neighborhood spaceship. I mean, seeing this makes me think Strike Witches.
This got released in the States from Central Park Media, apparently.
Hey, Central Park Media.
When a Honda Civic from Anime Network, apparently.
Okay.
See here. Hey, .hack.
Here we are.
There is a mysterious, at the time of our recording, countdown timer on their website. Something like 128 days or something and counting on their website. So yeah, possible
I had not heard about
remake.
This. Okay,
possible remake of the original games, maybe.
128 days. That's
pretty lengthy countdown timer.
See timers of that length because they don't want to move that. That would suggest something is locked in, and that they are very confident that either it is ready to ship at this moment, or they are taking a big gamble that there will be no production delays. You usually don't see countdowns like that last more than a week.
Yeah. Official art section. I always loved these. They were always great for a cosplay reference. This one was for Witch Hunter Robin.
You just passed initial D.
Oh, yeah. Strangely appropriate, even still.
I,
for all
intents and purposes, have dropped MF Ghost. I couldn't even find the motivation.
Hit its stride. It's hit its stride as we are now actually in the racing.
Because I couldn't even get the motivation to watch episode 2 because episode 1 fell so flat for me.
No, like he qualified and they are now entering the races.
Okay.
So it's literally like, oh, let's do all the boring stuff in the first episode and introduce the characters. And then like episode 2 build up the tension of, is he going to qualify? Is he going to qualify? And then it's like, he qualified. All right, let the races begin and let's introduce all the rivals. So,
Might have
yeah.
We'll see if I end up going back for that one or not.
So yeah, we got
they're going in
sorts
depth here.
All sorts of stuff, from props to vehicles to settings. Yeah, they always went into huge detail with these sections. It was always a really cool section. Voice actress spotlight.
Ainonaka.
From Sora Nostalgia. Another Suncoast advertisement, and currently airing in Japan.
Yes.
Which included a bunch of stuff. I've actually got some stuff on a CD-ROM from this, like openings and endings, that maybe we can take a look at one of these days for fun off stream, since we don't.
Yeah, that would get DMCA'd real fast.
But like right there, Shin Megami Tensei Devil Children Light and Dark. I know I have some openings and endings from that on a CD somewhere, because that was back in the day when friends would swap CDs with files on them back and forth in glorious 240p. Yo, check this out. This is so cool. So,
ooh, you marked this one.
Yeah, no, these are the segments that were marked.
I don't think we've seen any actual markings in the past issues that we've looked at. So what did you highlight?
This was marking like stuff that was coming out, I guess. Stuff like actually, funny enough, let me reach all the way over here. What does that say? Is that volume 2 or volume 3? That's volume 1 that I grabbed. Volume 3. So right here, Jing, King of Bandits, volume 3. Boom. And what is that? Excel Saga, volume 2 and 3. Boom, boom.
There we are.
Oh yeah, I still have a lot of these to this day, or stuff that some of my friends were reading or following at the time. Like Fushigi Yugi was one of them. I think was circled there. Final Fantasy Unlimited. I used to own that. I stole it years ago. Full Metal Panic. Yeah, that whole box set is literally sitting right here. This is what box sets used to look like.
And that's a good-looking box set.
Yeah, they would sell you volume 1 in a big empty box, and you'd have to fill in the rest of the box. And actually, here's the fun part. Signed.
Ooh.
That one's signed by Chris Patton. Stosuke. There's Vic McNono.
Yeah.
And anybody else sign these? No, nobody else. But yeah, these actually were. They would come with a cool little insert, little poster, and yeah, the covers were reversible. I like the reversed covers with the characters on them. I thought they were cooler looking. But yeah, this was kind of cool being able to see the new releases. It was able to tell me like, oh yeah, save your money. Save your lunch money. You're going to want to spend it on these things. Yeah, so this is literally summaries of all the episodes. A lot of these, some of these shows did wind up coming stateside. Happy Lesson Advance. Happy Lesson did come stateside. Get Backers came out stateside. Full Metal Panic Fumofu. That box set is staring me in the face. DN Angel, S Otherwise, Gundam Seed, Detective Conan, Zatch Bell. Hey, Kamen Rider Fies. Sonic X.
Gotta go
Gotta
fast.
go fast. Oh man, I don't have that on my soundboard pulled up, but Naruto. Where were we in Naruto and One Piece at the time? We were only at 160 of One Piece and 41 of Naruto.
Wow.
And episode 33 of Pocket Monster Advanced Generation.
Mm.
Damn. Oh yeah, and episode 164 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters.
Yes.
Of course, TV listings included Tech TV with its Anime Unleashed. Eventually, I will go through my VHS tapes of stuff taped off of television, and maybe I will, throw together some television bumpers for us. But we've talked about a lot of these. Steam Detectives advertisement. Hey, look at this. What is airing on the Anime Network on demand based off of what cable provider you had, Comcast or Cablevision? Hey, Golden Boy, Excel Saga.
Fun fact, I don't know if we mentioned it the last week or two, but Crunchyroll actually just started a new linear channel. I forget what it's under. That it's, I think, via Hulu or no, it's Roku. That it has a linear channel through a couple other places now.
Hey, and some Sony
ViDEEo.
TVs even have a Crunchyroll button on the remote. Some fan art and letters to Newtype. All sorts of fan art from everywhere. Anime on campus. Chile is hot for anime. It's apparently an article about something from some anime clubs down in Chile in South America, which is kind of cool. A fan fiction, apparently.
Wait, they published fan fiction. I don't remember seeing that in any of the past ones. That would not fly by today's standards.
We're posting a exceptional piece of fan fiction on previously assigned title. Our next title will be Chobits. Entries must be between 800 and 900 words and be original works by the author. Please note the change in word count requirements. Blah, 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 blah. Qualify for entry. Text must be appropriate for PG-13 movie. Do not forget to check out this month's fan fiction winner for Helsing. So, yeah. They had a fan fiction section that they added to it at one point.
Yeah, they would never allow that nowadays.
Fandom in America, The Tempo in Tampa. San Diego Comic-Con International. It's pointing out various retailers online. Hey.
Yeah, now into cons and cosplay, which we see of just how far things have come, really.
Otakon.
Hey.
Man, Otakon in freaking 2003. At a Benchy cosplay. Wow, look at that big two-page ad for
.hack Outbreak.
Part 3.
You just have all these right on hand.
It's all right behind me. I am a consumer horse. Some reviews. One Piece, the movie Dead End no Boken.
Gosh, that must have been one of the really early ones.
Kino's Journey. Mazen Kaiser. This month's selection in Japan. Super Sentai Collection. Oh my god. Ju-on, theatrical version. The Grudge. Oh man. Over in America, hey, that aired on Adult Swim, Blue Gender.
Super Android Heat Guy J.
Witch Hunter
My
Robin.
Sassy Girl. Yep. Witch Hunter Robin. There's so many that I've just never heard of here.
Oh man, the Red Octane DDR pads.
Ooh.
Pre-tier. Oh, that is a classic magical girl show right there. DDR Max 2. So I do not have that one. I only have DDR Max 1 actually still. But Dino Crisis 3, Monster Rancher 4. Those were fun games. Freaking popping the discs in the PlayStation to find out what monsters you had. Final Fantasy 11. Yeah, actually I can grab something from, while not the PlayStation 2 disc. Hey, there's Final Fantasy 11. Because that lasted forever. Ghibli Museum in 2003. Holy crap. That must have been something to see back then.
Starting to come toward the end here. We have the music section.
Music section.
They tried so hard to get this stuff to get traction in the US, and it obviously got a non-zero amount, but
hey, there's J-Pop CD again. And of course, statues and figures. Comic-Con display for the 5-star stories.
I'm curious if this was New York Comic-Con or San Diego Comic-Con. It's probably San Diego.
San Diego.
Yeah.
How to art CG for beginners. The art of using CG like a brush. There's a full page ad for the DVD that they had in this issue, Final Fantasy Unlimited. Dojinshi Publishing Down Under. Something about Dojinshi. That's interesting. Bagged and boarded. So even something about how hey, look, Neil Gaiman's Coraline.
Oh wow, that was 2003.
Yeah. So Daredevil. Horoscopes.
Anime horoscopes. And even into a bit of mech here.
Yeah, a little bit of Gunpla, actually. G4, TV for gamers.
And that would have been in its prime.
Yeah. And then staff rules for the giveaways. Small little section here about Gundam Origins. Hey, more King of Bandits Jing. That was such a cool show. Mandarake. Oh god, that website can be so dangerous.
The Far West Sauna of Death. Is this a horror story?
I don't know. I'm just looking at the last words here. Sayonara, Moomins, says the younger girl to the pictures on the airport walls. We are leaving, says the elder of the two girls dolefully. We are leaving this land of manga. I guess I don't know. I guess this was somebody's like little horror story about anime or something. We end on a Witch Hunter Robin ad and some Bandai.
They got both the front cover and the inside back cover.
Yep. And end on
Cat
an ad
soup.
for cat soup from Central Park Media and Software Sculptors.
Oh boy. This one, I feel like, compared to some of the other magazines that we've gone through for Newtype, this one didn't have quite as much crazy, juicy stuff as we've seen in some of the past ones. But, you know, some months for different magazines like this were hit and miss, and that this one wound up being tamer. But in other ways, maybe it just sort of speaks to, obviously, not everything that came out back in the day necessarily was groundbreaking or changed the world and stood the test of time, and that there was a lot of stuff here that were like, oh yeah, I've kind of heard that or not really heard of that. And that when the star here is Witch Hunter Robin, that while it did get relatively mainstream, that it's not really a big brand nowadays. And to see basically just about everything here, like, we didn't really see anything of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in there.
No, it was just
like the mentions.
It was actually a removable postcard section, I believe.
Oh, got it.
Those I think are somewhere in the house. Gotta be. I can't remember where, but
but that you see here, there's just a lot of stuff that didn't end up really making it through, and that doesn't stand the test of time. And 20 years later, while there was certain issues that we've read of this in the past, we're like, oh yeah, no, this was huge. This was such a historic thing, that not everything becomes history, or rather it becomes history in a different sense.
Yeah.
But still, this was really fun, and we'll definitely do these every so often still. As always, you can like, follow, subscribe, all that jazz here on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And on our YouTube channel, you can see the trailer for Kokoro no Pro, our upcoming wrestling visual novel headed up by Mario and RJ. And you can play the demo for Kokoro no Pro at our Twitch. I'm just so all over today. Our itch.io page. Good grief. You can see our friends Image Anime at imageanime.com and use the code DEESCOUNTSHIP, that is DEESCOUNTSHIP, for free shipping on orders of $100 or more. And you can get Digital Era Entertainment merchandise from merch.streamelements.com/Digital Era Entertainment. I will be back tomorrow along with you, Jace, and others for our radio drama presentation of Young Frankenstein. That's going to be Frankenstein. Yes, that will be a lot of fun. That's going to be at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Do be sure to tune in for that. I'm playing the creature. I forget who you are, Jace.
I'm a bunch of things.
Yeah, I think you have some, I forget what your main role is, but you have some fun ones in there. So definitely do tune in for that. As always, I'm here on Thursdays with RJ, but there's wonderful nerdy programming happening here most nights of the week. So do be sure to follow on Twitch if you aren't already. I think that's just about going to do it for us. So, as always, thank you for tuning in. Stay safe, stay sane, and we will see you next time on Digital Era Twitch.
Goodbye.
Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and follow us across social media for updates. Thanks for watching.